Now you are. Okay, bye. Just kidding. Oh my gosh.
But yeah.
So funny. Okay. Hey guys. Hello. It's Friday. We don't normally do these on a Friday, so I keep feeling like my days are off, but thank you all for being on. Really excited to have our guests today. I know we've got more popping in, so we're going to get started to be respectful of time. We are running just a few minutes late, and we will make sure that we record and send out the recording. Also, Ruth, I feel like I've seen you every day lately. I love it.
I had a cancellation. So I was like, oh, I'm going to jump in that one real fast.
Perfect. I love it. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, guys, I am really excited to have two of my friends on today, Kelly and Harris and Kelsey Jarboe. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. They are based in Owensboro, Kentucky, and sell all around. They have a really interesting story, and I want to kind of lay the framework for today. The two things I wanted to get accomplished really, and we called this a scarcity versus abundance. And then I was like, well, it is that, but it's more than that, because I want to talk about partnerships. A lot of agents are talking about partnerships today, and a lot of partnerships don't work. And so I want to make sure we talk about that. And then the second thing I really want to talk about, oh my gosh, Terry's on.
I know. I was flipping through like, oh, our coach is on.
I can't miss you guys.
Oh my gosh.
That's about so you. Fun. Go. I want to hear it. Go.
Oh my gosh. I love it. Okay. Terry coaches both Kelly and I. So did she coach Kelsey too? No. Okay. Just Kelly and I.
From afar through Kelly.
From afar. Okay. Okay. So anyway, I want to talk about partnerships. And then I also want to talk about how to retain and keep talent close to you, instead of the mindset of, I can't build a team because one day they're just going to leave and take all the business, which we hear a lot in this industry. So if you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves and just tell a little bit about yourselves. Linda would say you were born and then what, but really not, because we got to stay on time. And then I'll start going with questions from there. So Kellyanne, go for it.
Okay, you want me to start? Kellyanne Harris. I live in Owensboro. I'm a mom of a 13-year-old getting ready to be 14. So I've been in real estate as long as my child, his age. So 13 years. Got in when he was that age. And so started off as a solo agent. Did that for 6 years. Was the #1 agent in Kentucky under a Remax. Sold 142 homes by myself. Then I was losing my mind and could not function anymore. I was still in my early 30s, late 20s, I guess. And then started to do a team. Kelsey was one of my first agents. Met her at the gym. And so then built a team. And we were, I don't know, whatever. The rankings don't even matter to us anymore, because it's like, who are we impacting? What are we building together? So we've been, I guess, functioning as a team for 8 years now, Kelsey? And then Kelsey and I have been partners for three years. And yeah, so on top of that, we're an expansion team. So we're in 5 cities and growing, looking for expansion partners every day. Vision Real Estate Platform. We are on pace to do 800 units this year as a platform. And then I'm also an operating partner of Keller Williams. We have property management company, we have title, we're launching mortgage. We just do it all. We want to be the answer so that mega agents and agents don't have to do it the hard way. We don't want them to go through the things that we've gone through.
Love it. Great job. Okay, Kelsey.
All right, so I am Kelsey Jarboe. I'm 30 years old. I got into real estate June 3rd of 2015, and I actually started with Kelly at another brokerage. We were there for about 6 months, and then they brought Keller Williams to Owensboro. So I'm currently 30. I have done over 100 units myself before Kelly and I became partners in January of 2020. I'm co-founder of the Vision Real Estate Platform. Like she said, she kind of spoke for us both. We're launching title, mortgage, anything that can be of service to a mega agent. We want to make their life a little bit easier. So we both hold different roles, like in the platform and the team, which we can kind of dive into that a little bit more once we get into this.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay, I have several questions. And if you guys have questions too, type them in the chat. But my first question is, Kelly, when you were starting to build the team and Kelsey obviously was with you and she was, crushing it as an agent, what were the things that you were looking for in her? And then follow-up question would be, Kelsey, what were the things that you felt like that you did to earn the right to continue to go, to have more opportunities with Kelly?
So one, I met her in the gym, and if you follow me, you know that I am a freak when it comes to fitness, because that's actually like what my degree was. So I met her there, and I always say, like, and this is just a gym thing, I've grown up in gyms, is like, if somebody can take care of their body in that kind of way, then can I imagine what she could do in like my world? So like, I don't know what world you're in, it might not be fitness, but like I definitely saw that characteristic in her in the gym. And I thought, oh my gosh, like, because a lot of times I always say, like, I love athletes. I love that. I love the captain of a football team. Like, I love that kind of, not that there's not other stars out there, but it's like when you, like, whatever it is, I relate to sports because I'm a sports mom. So like, I always think about that kind of stuff. So I was looking for that. And then like, as Kelsey became, like, I was losing my mind. So like when she came into the business, I was like, we built the team in the beginning where like I was feeding the people, even though that they were working the deals. Like we built it where like I couldn't even handle the business. So I was just giving it. And she was bringing it too. But at the same time, I was just like, Kelsey, take this person. And I knew she was so hungry and so broke, to be honest, like, because we've both been broke. I knew she would take it and run with it. And she would love people like I love people. So that was important to me. And then as she got to scale, she started to build her own brand under my umbrella.
Yeah.
And then I saw that I didn't know if partnership was at that time. Like I always said, hey, you could be my partner, but like I really didn't know how that all was going to work out. But I was like, I promise you, I will bring you opportunity, because I knew she was a star and I knew she was unique and a unicorn. I knew I didn't want to lose her out of my life. So then I had to like go to the table with like, how do I make this a win for me and a win for her? Because it's got to be a win for what? And I would have those conversations with Kelsey about win and lose. Like if Kelsey came to me and she's like, I want to hire split. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I can do that because I'm bringing this to our business. So we just had like transparent, open conversations about the money, about like making sure it was win-wins for both of us.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. Kelsey, before you go, I think that's a huge takeaway for everybody that's listening and going to watch this later. I feel like one of the things that makes you guys special and unique, and is also other people that I know that are partners, is exactly what you just said. They're really transparent. They talk about everything. They have very open communication. They don't let things like fester, and then it becomes a story, and then it becomes a resentment, and then it becomes a whatever, and then they're off the team. Like that typically is what happens over and over and over again. So I love that you brought that up. So Kelsey, when you were an agent doing, 100 units on the team, or maybe even before that, did you always know like, hey, I want to keep doing more? And I'm just like, what were the things? Like, was it show up every day and work? Like, what were the things that you were like, this is what I know I have to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure even Terry and everyone could testify to this. I was a great agent and I could close a deal and I was a hustler, but maybe boundaries and showing up weren't always my best, because, and I'm saying this in like a good timeline of like us being partners when it happened was perfect, because I wasn't ready then. My headspace like wasn't in leadership. I thought running a team would be easy. Duh. Everyone was doing it. And my ego probably wasn't ready for that yet. So it really did happen in perfect timing, because I just wanted to make a lot of money. And I truly, being honest, like I don't really know what that looked like, but I was so broke. And there's, a whole backstory to all that. I just knew I wanted to make a lot of money. I wanted to buy a lot of property. Partnership really wasn't in my vision until I hit my 104 units.
Yeah.
So because if I never would have hit that goal, it still would have been all about me, not about the team. Now I've hit my 104 units and I'm like, well, shoot, okay, I'm okay. I want to do that for somebody else. I wouldn't have been that person when I first started. So I think it boils down to also, like, if we both didn't have coaches, we wouldn't have the right headspace for all this. Like the resentment or talking about things, like if we both didn't have big minds and have a coach, I don't think we'd be like where we're at.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you guys, like, I'm just thinking back to remembering when I took a team leader role, and I distinctly remember sitting down with Myra and Linda, and they said, when you become a black belt team leader 2 years in a row, we'll have you be we'll give you an OP opportunity. Like, I knew what I was sprinting towards. Kelly, did you like set that for Kelsey, or did it naturally happen?
No, she's gonna earn her way. I mean, she hated when I said that word, like earn, because she's like, I remember having conversations like, I shouldn't have to earn. I mean, like we had these battles.
I just did 104 units. Like, what am I earning?
I already earned it. Yeah.
And she'd be like, I didn't earn. And I'm like, you're going to have to earn partnership with me. You know what I mean? And like, she's well over earned that.
Yeah.
She didn't understand that vocabulary in the beginning because, you know, just because we do 100 units doesn't make us a leader. Like it doesn't do that, right? Like I know plenty of people that don't do 100 units that are fabulous leaders. And so I had to get her out of the agent mindset into how can you bring someone up? How can you wake up every day and the day is not about you? And so she's got there faster than I have ever seen in her 20s. I mean, I was not there in my 20s. Let's just be honest. So I'm very, very proud of her for having that. But yeah, like I did 30, 60, 90s with her. I said, you got to get to this point. I said, like, she has another measure she's got to hit. And so she gets that, she gets the next, you know what I mean? Like, and it is never where we both have to win. If you're giving up ownership and you're losing and you haven't figured out how to fundamentally make it more profitable for you, then it's probably not going to work because you're going to have resentment because, you know, there's days I don't work as hard. There's days she didn't work as hard. Like I have plenty of partnerships. And the one thing I think that all of them have a core similarity is we never look at each other like someone's not pulling their weight. And I never want to be in that kind of partnership, but that is strategically how you have to position your partnerships.
Yeah. Kelsey, I love that. When you were, you know, okay, Kelly, and you said Kelsey built her own brand underneath of my umbrella. Kelsey, did you purposely do that or did that naturally happen? And then, and I want to talk about that for a minute, because I feel like this is when teams start to go like haywire, is when then it becomes 50-50, right? Like the team is bringing half, but the agent is bringing half, or maybe even bringing a little bit more at, you know, some years change. And I feel like then it's like, okay, the agent wants more and the rainmaker's like, whoa, wait a minute. And typically the rainmaker isn't thinking big enough like you did, Kelly. Do you know what I mean? Like, does that, I know
I'll say this and I'll let Kelsey talk on this. We're in that same situation with another agent again. Yeah. My value for what I was going to make Kelsey's life easier with more freedom, I always made sure I had the right staff in place so that she knew she was supported and it was easier for her to do it this way than go recreate it and start all over on her own.
So and your value prop to her as a killing it agent on your team was the staff and support.
Yeah, I'll let her speak on that.
Okay.
Yeah. And you go back to the question of like, did it happen organically or not? I truly think it happened organically. I mean, in all honesty, I think me branding myself with Kelly was one of the best things because, you know, she passed that off and we still had the same personality. So reflecting back on when we've had leadership before is we would pass something off and they're complete opposites. So I think you need to be careful on like who you attract and what you look for in a partner, because I would pick up what she put down. Like that was just a undisclosed thing that we always talked about. But I never wanted, since I've been here from the beginning, I was like, oh my God, I do not want to recreate all this, like hiring, firing, staff, systems, tools. And, in this day and age with technology, I mean, everyone's already 5 years behind if you think about it. Like,
But I'll say though, Dana, I mean, I've been in rooms over the past few years and for years. Our systems that we have built, our SOPs are they're amazing.
Yeah.
So you got to really figure, I'm such a systems person. I mean, don't you agree, Kelsey? Like, that's one of my biggest strengths is figuring out how to duplicate things. So I don't think all teams are as heavy on systems like we are.
Like they should be. Yeah. Well, and I remember Kelsey, when you started selling and you were just, and still to this day, I love, but so strong on social media. And I felt like in the beginning, it was really good because what you said, you guys were you associating with Kelly's brand was great because Kelly was already number one in Owensboro. But then Kelsey, you kind of brought in your sphere of people. Kelly had her sphere of people. So it really was kind of the perfect marriage of working because you kind of had the younger people and Kelly, you kind of had everybody, but there was still a whole nother, you know what I mean? It was a really good, perfect marriage. And the other thing that I was thinking of is I remember one time Linda read me an email that Gary Keller sent her, and Linda had emailed Gary and said, I just feel like I walk around pissed off all the time. I feel like I'm always in a bad mood. I feel like I'm constantly why can everybody not keep up? And Gary responded and said, Linda, most people are around people who their minimum is the other people's maximum. And you have to figure out how to go attract the talent that their maximum is your maximum. Otherwise, if you're attracting people that their maximum is your minimum, you're going to walk around pissed off all the time. And Kelly, you have a high capacity. And it was great because Kelsey, you have a high capacity. And that's why I think you guys said, you never worry about one day you might work more and the next day you might work more or whatever, but you aren't worried about somebody keeping up. And I think as rainmakers, wouldn't you all say sometimes when we hire people that they don't have their max is whoa, we're just scratching the surface. It's never going to work.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kelsey.
No, I was just agreeing. Yes.
Yeah. And so I think that was my fault in the very beginning. Kelsey has seen me make so many mistakes. She got the best ticket. I'm telling you,
to the show.
Not gonna do that.
She's always well, you remember when you did this? And I'm you just wait. You wait. It's a true, it's funny because I think about that. I was actually recording content this morning and it makes me laugh because in the beginning, I was just hurting bodies. To build my first KW, I've hurted bodies. Whoever had a pulse, come to work. Who cares? And then all of a sudden I was ooh, this is not the culture I want. Right. Yeah. And so now we're building expansion teams with partners and with people. And now I have so much more clarity around who I want to be in business with and who I choose not to be in business with. Yeah. And I know that avatar and Kelsey knows that avatar because if they can't hang, then they're going to end up hating me. Not that I'm a bad person or Kelsey's a bad person. You're not going to like me because, and that's okay. But we got to figure out if we're going to go in business together because we want these things and all these people here depend on Kelsey and I to constantly go get bigger.
Yeah. Okay. So then let's go into my next question because you kind of walked right into that. People would say, I think one of the reasons why partnerships are hard is because we are taught that it's never good when you have two cooks in the kitchen so how do you guys balance that? And how did you set that up from the beginning and what is that like today? And is it ever hard that there's two cooks in the kitchen or do you have it so siloed out that it's not talk a little bit?
Hard. It's hard.
Go ahead.
Talk, just real talk through that, Kelsey.
Yeah, it's freaking hard because we're both visionaries. We have big visions and we have very good intentions for everyone in our world. So
wait, sorry not to interrupt you, but that's really good. Are you both visionaries or is one of you an implementer?
I'm a visionary. I cannot execute.
No, I'm not an implementer. That's
what I thought. So you're both visionaries. So you have two cooks in the kitchen that are both visionaries. So you have to have really good implementers. Or I'm sure nothing gets accomplished. Okay. Sorry.
We probably should have one of them on the call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Um,
actually in, I took a break. We took lunch right now because we just hired EOS. Terry, today is our first day. So our EOS coach is here today at my house. He flew here. And it's so funny going through like when you're a visionary and you don't have an amazing integrator.
Mhm.
I mean, everything is chaos, so. But okay, so how do you work through that to have two cooks in the kitchen? Do certain people report to one of you and certain people report to the other? Do you lead everything together? Like, what does that look like?
yeah,
No.
we definitely don't lead everything together. We do delegate. Every once in a while, because we are so commingled on stuff, we'll get in each other's lane, but we like kindly remind each other, like, hey, I mean, she'll tell me and I'll tell her, you're stunning my growth. You're stunning my growth. Hold on, stay in your lane. Because if I step in on a system she's already worked on, it will blow the whole thing up because now there's so many people in our world that we get out of line for 5 minutes, we can mess up the whole organization. So
Mhm.
it's always like a friendly boundary reminder of, hey, stay in your lane. You've caused chaos because that's what it causes is
Yeah.
chaos off the charts. And
Yeah.
then it creates a bad work culture because Kelsey said this, I said this, and it's, mm-mm.
Do people ever try to like do the mom dad thing where like if one of you says no, they go to the other one?
So that
Yeah.
used to happen. So she runs the
Yeah. What
hub.
are the separations? Who does what kind
She
of?
runs the hub team, which is the mothership that has paid for everything.
Yep.
And every opportunity. So it is a very, very critical role. And
Yep.
that team, I mean, that's a lot of responsibility. It's our biggest team. They'll
Yeah.
do over 300 homes this year. And it's good to have her in that seat because, well, and then I'm the CEO of Vision. So I run all of the expansion teams, like I'm her leader. And then I'm an operations leader, making sure everything's like working. I eventually want to de-hire myself and find
Yeah.
someone to run all the back end so that I can go be in better relationships and gain more partners. But right now that's what we're doing in this point. But yeah, they did that when I was moving out of running the team, the home team, into this role. That happened all the time. And Kelsey, you can speak on what we did.
Yeah, it was kind of our roles were reversing. So I was like the sweet, nice one, hi, and Kelly was the stern one. Well, then
Yeah.
she transitioned out of that role, and she was more of like the grandma, and I'm not about like you know what I'm saying, like you go to grandma to get your answer, and I'm more the mom. And then they didn't like my answer, so then they would go to Kelly, and then Kelly didn't know what was going on, so she's like, yeah, it's fine, But I was setting a new, but she no ill intentions, I
Right.
was putting new boundaries into place because that's a whole other story. It was like a whole new culture transitioning into our team because story for another time, but we rebuilt our whole team. We started
Yeah.
from scratch when all this was happening and we were transitioning into partners. So
Yeah.
something wasn't working. So we had to rebuild what we had, new culture, new standards, new expectations. If not, we couldn't fund anything.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I had to pass her the torch and let her fail if she failed. You know what I
Did
mean?
you
Like
disappear though, Kelly? Like, were you like, I'm out of the building, like I'm exiting the building, or no?
I disappeared a lot. I mean, I don't even think I mean, Kelsey, you can speak to that, but I mean, I'm in my office, they're right there, but I really don't go in there a lot. So.
But I told like she's really good about knowing, like I said, let me fail, please. Let me stay in my lane because if not, if you're always cleaning up my mess,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Or like I don't know why they're not listening to me. Or like when I would say like I'm the leader and then no one's following me, I don't understand because she might have been going behind me and picking up the pieces. So I said it might cripple me. So
Yeah.
that's hard for her whenever she's like, shoot, I've already done this. Freaking listen, you know? So that
Mhm.
was like the biggest thing too. I wanted to fail. Didn't I tell you so many times?
Yeah.
Like, let me fail, get away, get away.
She did. And it was,
How'd you do that then, Kelly?
I had to do it. I had to bite my tongue. And I mean, I think now I've learned with Kelsey, I have to let her, because she is a visionary and she's headstrong and
Mhm.
we're both a little stubborn. I have to allow her the space to figure it out on her own. And I know that if she would listen, then things might go faster for her. But at the same time, like, are they really going to go faster? Because she's not going to probably do it out of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
wanted that experience. So then whenever I'm recreating my avatar, I could tell them too.
Yeah.
So I know what I don't know.
Was there ever a point where Kelsey screwed up and Kelly, you were like, y'all went backwards or anything? And how did you push through that?
We go backwards a lot and we're okay with that. Honestly, total transparency. I think anything like the biggest struggle on the team, no one right now, is like who we kept or didn't keep on the team. Because she might have been closer to them and I wasn't, or I might have been closer to someone,
Right.
he wasn't. That's with the team. That's the only thing that we ever disagreed on, is seeing someone differently than maybe I saw them. But
Right.
now, like I said, our team is like in the best headspace, the best culture that we've ever had. So we haven't really had any issues on the team. Yes, we've come a long way. But we've really revamped, cleaned house.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely gone back. Like, she launched an expansion organization last year and it didn't make any money. Now it's making money. And so she had to learn, and I remember giving her, like, I remember her saying, let me just do it. And I was like, you know what? She needs to do this, because I built Owensboro and then passed the torch to her. And then she rebuilt Owensboro her way. And I'm like, she's never really built it from the ground up. Like, this would be a great experience.
Yeah.
You have understanding. And if you're thinking about getting, like, having the partner feel what you felt, I can't put a price tag on that. Like, I try to explain what it felt like when I was broke and 25 years old and was building all of this clientele, but she doesn't get that. She's never going to get those heartaches, so and I'm not going to ask her to get it. Like, I'm here to bring value to her and to increase her world. I don't need her to understand that. I'm going to tell her, but I don't need her to feel those pains that I felt.
Yeah.
This will be her own journey.
Yeah. Have either of y'all ever felt like your egos got in the way, and or how do you keep those in check? Or is it because you're friends, they really don't?
I don't think I might like my idea better than her idea, or vice versa. But no, our egos, no. Really,
Yeah,
our ideas are the only thing that's ever, and when to implement is the only thing that we've ever really disagreed on.
Yeah, love that. Okay. Sarah had a really good question. We'll answer these two before we go to mine. How do you guys hold each other accountable as partners?
We have weekly meetings. We have expectations at our weekly meetings. We learn to have itineraries with our meetings, so they're purposeful.
Are they just you two on the meetings?
Some of them are.
Some are, some aren't. But we're
she's my partner, but I have to hold her accountable to driving the hometown team. So, she knows that's my role, and she respects my role, and she knows that I'm going to hold her accountable to that. So she's okay with still getting coached by me. But then we have partner meetings where we're talking about money, what we're doing, you know what I'm saying? So, like, it's like, okay, you're walking into this meeting, and Kelsey, you're going to wear the hat of being held accountable. Okay, we're walking into this and we're having a partnership talk.
Yeah.
But I want to piggyback on that, though. I appreciate it, because sometimes I feel crazy or like I'm down, or why didn't this work with the team? And Kelly is one of the only people that gets it in my world, because no one else has done it. So like sometimes it's like, I enjoy that part of coaching, because I'm like, did this happen to you? Why did my team do this? Why did this happen? Who else am I going to ask that to? You know?
Yeah. I remember one time, another Linda story is, I remember Linda said that this was not a partnership, but she passed her team over to Jimmy's brother. And when she was having accountability and coaching meetings with Gary Keller on it, she would say, well, Brad's not doing this, or Brad's not doing that, or, Brad's not doing it the way that I used to do it. And Gary would say, well, do you want the job back? And she would say, well, no. And then he would say, well, then why do you care? If he can do it and still succeed and it's a different way, why do you care? And I'm just wondering, like, Kelly, was your mindset like that? Were you like, at that point, I don't want the job back? So do you know what I mean? Or were you ever like, no, I'd gladly take the job back?
I mean, I think there's been times where I've had like, when we've had like, we've all gone back to work several times. So
Yeah.
I don't mind to ever be beside her. I don't want to muddy the water. Like right now, we got so many agents that she needs to run it. I don't want that job at this point because I
Yeah.
can't imagine putting that job on the job I have now. Like
Right.
there's not enough
Yep.
time in the day. So yes, I think I feel like that now. I think like as we were like, we've rebuilt the team so many times. Like
Yeah.
we were all selling. Like we all still sell. Like I always say, like, yes, I have all these companies, but I will always still sell homes.
Yeah.
Kelsey will always still sell homes. It's so easy to us. Maybe when I get older, I'll change my thought process on that. But our leverage and our platform is so strong. It'll like you may think I'm crazy for still selling and that we have 15, 20 companies.
Yeah.
But to me, you don't understand what the inside and my operations teams looks like that allows me to still sell houses.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I think too, we had to like come to the agreement that, like you said, like people lead different ways and can still get the same result.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, Kelly learned that too. Like she's like, do it my way, do it my way, do it my way. And I would take some of her ways, absolutely. But I just didn't, it wasn't my personality. So like, I was hard for me to transform, but it was probably hard for her also. Like, this is my baby.
Yeah.
Please do it this way. But my brain just could not function like that. But we're still very successful. Like, it just took a second for us to be like, trust me, I trust you. Like,
Yeah.
I think you can lead different ways. And I think, but our core,
yes,
we were going over our policies and our standards of procedures. The procedures can't change.
Yeah.
Like how you hold people
Values.
accountable, what we measure, that can't change. How she chooses to motivate, how she chooses to hold accountable can all be done in her personality style or her reprimanding way or whatever that looks like.
Right.
But as long as she's running the same tools, systems, models, like I don't care.
Yeah. 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 Do you feel like you guys always aligned in the same values from the beginning?
Oh, values?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Because I feel like that's like the most important thing right off the bat is you have to have the same values. I think Terry's probably literally beat that into our skulls so many times. But yeah, definitely. Okay. And then how do you guys stay focused or decide what to implement when you have a million different ideas as visionaries? Great question.
You can speak, Kelly.
So, you know, I get to work with the operations team the most out of all the partners because I'm over there advocating for the partner, but advocating for the operations team, right? That's kind of my role. So I have to ride that middle line of, I mean, that's really what I play. And so I'll flat out tell the partners like, hey, you're giving them too many projects. Like, okay, this is a first quarter project. This is a second quarter. Like, and that was me. Like, that was because it was me. And I was like, I'm going to lose my people if I don't calm myself down and actually give them realistic guidelines. And so then I had to teach my people. And a lot of people think you just push a button, but really it causes 150 different task items and then distractions from this to execute something. So, and what I'm also working on is personally is when I have an idea coming through, and me and Kelsey were talking about this, coming through with the entire thought and then going to, because if you're not the implementer, then going to your people and saying, hey, this is my thought. This is my idea, because I'm running so fast. Now it's gotten so big. I've caught myself where my partner's like, well, I didn't know you were doing that.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to better us. And so then I get mad and then I'm like, okay, I got to get better at communicating ideas. So now we throw something on the wall and I literally say, this is my idea. Y'all poke holes in it. I let them give me constructive criticism, because what I found, and Kelsey went through this just the other day, is I was getting so pissed off and discouraged because people would shoot my idea down. And it wasn't that they were shooting it down. They're over there going, how do we implement this? Have you really thought through it?
Yeah.
And so now I really need to like slow down. This is the idea. These are all my thoughts. And then allow the space for them to give me constructive criticism. It's taken better on both ways. So I'm reading the best book right now, and you're talking exactly about it. And it is
I mean, I read a lot of books and it's probably one of the best books I've ever read. I'm only in chapter 4, but it's called Buy Back Your Time. And it is amazing. Yes, it is. So you highly recommend it. Adam's been telling me to read it for like 2 months and it is so good. And oh yeah, Renee's on. Yes, it is so good. But he talks about in the very beginning, actually, I'll read this to you because I saved this in my notes because I was like, oh my gosh, this is totally so many of us. He said most entrepreneurs only know GSD, get shit done. They aren't good at time blocking. Like it blinds them to everything else because all they know is GSD. They just want to like get it done, keep it going. And so it blinds them. And he said, when you're an entrepreneur, you have to have a system to help you supercharge who you are and become a better person so that you know how to own a business and the business doesn't own you. And because most of us as entrepreneurs are so like what you just said, Kelly, we have this idea and we don't even really think it through all the way because we're quick starts too, that we like throw it out there and throw it on our people. And then they're like, wait a minute, hold on, we can't do it because this, and this. And then we're pissed because we're like, wait a minute, that was a really good idea. And I'm just ready to get it done. Like,
and they're like, we don't have any time to do this.
Yes. And then and then David, Stephanie, I know I'm probably directly talking to 99% of the people on the call. But I was driving, listening to him say this, and I was like, oh my gosh, he is actually talking to me. This is why Adam wanted me to read this book. But it's so true. And I love that you said that now, like you're slowing it down. And I think when you're doing multiple companies and multiple organizations and multiple things, you kind of have to learn how to do that. It gets to be.
Unless you're willing to go hire someone else.
Right.
But we don't have that budget right now in today's market. So we're using the people we got.
Yeah.
And they need a life as well.
That actually brings me to that's good. Okay. So next question. And then I know we're going to kind of end early today. So we might have to have you guys back for part 2, but I want to talk about, I want to spend 2 minutes on the market. But before we do that, how do you guys as leaders and as partners know or differentiate when your people are at their capacity? Like, you know what I mean? How do you know like, okay, we can give them more or no, we can't give them more, but they're saying that they're at capacity. Do you know what I mean?
So I pick up on this before anyone picks up on this. Would you agree with that, Kelsey? So
Sometimes.
So
Realness. Terry, we need to have Terry needs to talk on part 2 because I see Terry like keeps
No,
up her
it's
hand.
called team dynamics, and the coach picks up on it first, even if she's not talking to the team.
That is so true.
So true.
That's so true. So just getting to know your people's personality. One of mine goes inward. One of mine goes outward. That
you
is
mean when they're at capacity. Yes.
Mhm.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's a great tip. How well do you know your people to know truly if they are?
Yeah. And checking on them. You know, our highest leadership team does not have a vacation policy because we know we wear them out. So they can take off whenever they want, as long as the job's done and they're fulfilling the role, go take off. So we do that on purpose because, just, and it might be 2 weeks, I know, before they need to take off, but I don't argue it. I'm like, hey, go do it, sister. Because some of our people are in positions where they have now opportunities to earn as much money as they want.
Right.
So really, they're doing this job, but they want more because we're building all these things. So it's really up to them on how much work they want. Like we've almost put them in another entrepreneurial position.
Yep. So Kelsey, what would you say to the person that like is here and wants to be here or wants to make this amount of money? You know what I mean? Like they want this now today.
Right. So, having that opportunity, like kind of reflecting back to the beginning, is you haven't earned it. So even if you're this big, I truly thought in my head, I'm a producer, I'm a leader. Why don't you need to self-reflect, you need to get with your partner, you need to get with your coach and really change your mindset. And it wasn't anything like mean or what. I just didn't know what I didn't know. I wasn't educated. I was a salesperson. I wasn't a leader, as in I wasn't doing anything bad or being mean. I just I didn't know what leadership was. And whenever you're not truly running a team, you think it's this whole glamorous thing.
Yeah.
Whenever you have to be ready to set your ego aside and make it about your people.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that. Love that. Let's see. Stephanie asked, are those opportunities the ancillary businesses for the admin?
Yes.
Yep.
Can you give
That
an example of one of those?
like our operations girl wants to start coaching.
Yeah, okay.
She's
Yep.
already started coaching. I think she's got 3 clients now. So we
Yep.
offer operations, and why wouldn't you want to be coached? Like, I know that's going to lead to opportunity for her because of 5 locations. And then one of our other Gabs, she will do hiring. She'll do hiring. Yeah, so she came from HR. She knows how to hire. She knows KPA process. So a bunch of other companies sometimes reach out to her and say, will you hire me someone? So that's something that she wanted to start providing. So it's like, what do they love to do? And then how can we share in profitability on these things, and how can we go do that? So yeah, ancillary, one of them wants to run a team one day. So Amber wants to run a team one day. So we may give, like, if she gets those things, like, we may give her a team one day. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Okay. I know, Kelly, you have to hop off in like 1 minute. So will you answer this first and then we can go to Kelsey after that? What are you seeing in the market right now? And what advice what would you give to people who maybe haven't been through a shift?
I think that it's not how the rich are going to get richer and the poor are going to get it poorer. And we don't want that economy, but the same thing's going to happen in the agent industry. The mega agents, the big independent agents, they're going to succeed at the highest level. The ones that are barely making it, they're going to be gone. And if I can tell you anything, I had to tell my people this, like, I know that this is about to happen to us with some of our agents. And as a leader, I cannot be the bank for agents. I can't be a bank. I will bankrupt everything I own if I start giving out loans. So that is something that we're not the bank. I love you, but there is lots of ways to earn a living right now in this real estate market. And you're just going to have to get your rear end on those phones and start lead generating. I'm not going to stoop to that. I've been poor. I've been in credit card debt. I sometimes have no mercy for that story. I'm working on that, but yeah, but we're
it's
killing
funny
it.
What they say, when you've been there, you know what it's like to go back there, and you know that you'll just, you'll make it happen. So you're not afraid of it. Like, that's how I think. Like, I mean, when you've been poor, you're like, whatever, if I already know what it's like, so I'll just go redo it again.
I know, I don't care. These are all material things. They can all be rebuilt.
Yeah.
Thank goodness I'm in a position that I'm in today that I can just go sell a piece of real estate. But
Yeah. Okay. Last question. And then I want Kelsey to answer these two. But Kelly, I feel like everything we've talked about, whether you're growing a team, whether you want to partner with somebody, everything comes down to leadership. So what advice would you give to somebody who's just looking to be a better leader?
Indulge yourself in leadership podcast. Doing emotional intelligence is so underrated. Terry, our coach, does those. So you can reach out to her so that that's something all of our leaders have done. So we can see, like, where in the leadership bar we need to work on. Get in therapy, fix yourself. Because however you grew up, good, bad, poor, rich, it all shows back up. And then we may not have empathy for people not like us. And we need to understand others first, and then get a coach and get in rooms. Like Glenda Baker and I were on live on my Facebook this morning because she's the keynote of Empower. By the way,
do you have any tickets left?
Yes, we have like 25 tickets left. So
Can somebody put it in the chat? Do you have a link?
Yes. Kelsey, will you do that really quick?
In case anybody wants to, last minute, they're having an event. There we go. Okay, perfect. Yes, Terry will be there. Yes, I would love to be there. I am going to be out of town for my nephew's birthday.
Yeah, so I wanted to recreate that room again. I've had the privilege of being in some rooms over the past 2 years that has really like lifted my lid. Get in rooms with other people. Like Kelsey said, I understand her. You have to get around people that you understand. Remove yourself from the people that don't understand your world, because it will do nothing but bring you back down. And I have strategically removed those conversations from my life because it does not serve me.
Yeah. Love that. Love that.
Thank
Okay.
you, Dana.
Thank you so much, Kelly. We'll have you back. Kelsey, before we go, will you answer those 2 tips you're giving to your agents for the market right now? And then actually, Antoinette asked, would you suggest individual agents to join a team or stay an individual? And then I want you to answer the leadership question before we wrap up real quick, please.
Okay, so what was the first question?
This market, what are anything different you're telling your agents in regards to what they need to be doing for the market? I mean, if transactions drop by 30%, you know, we're in a different time.
You know, I've just really been focusing on back to basics. We call our lead gen hammer time. Just if not, you're not going to make it. And I'm having very blunt conversations about it. It's not like the old market, which a lot of our team got in an amazing market. And you can't just have a heartbeat to sell. It's going to take skill and it's going to take talent. So those are our 2 things. And I said, you're going to outshine the rest of our market. Actually, and that's working because in our 8 years of, you know, being in real estate, having the team, this is our biggest January and February we've ever had. Bigger than 2021. Biggest GCI months because we've pinned over 40 homes every month this year.
Amazing.
I mean, we are pedal to the metal. We are a machine. We are systems. We don't stray from our standards. And it shows.
Yep. Love that. Love that. Okay. So as you've developed, and I just love like watching everything that you do, as you've developed as a leader, if someone's looking to be a better leader, whether that's for their team, for themselves, for their family, to start a team, to be in partnership, like what would you say about just being a better leader? And what would you say about continuing to earn the right, to your favorite word, to have more opportunities?
I think biggest thing, you know, becoming a leader is like, you've got to be able to like sit in your own shit, honestly, and reflect on what happened without the day. Because if you're always in defense mode or you're always right, no one's going to want to be in your world. And us being entrepreneurs, like I was so guilty of that. Like, I'm right. I've done it this way. Like, listen to me, you know, and they're not going to follow just by you saying that. I think that was my biggest epiphany. Or like I said, if you're transferring someone into a leadership role, like I kept going back and reading John Maxwell's like 5 levels of leadership. And I mentioned before, I'm so that person, I'm the leader, follow me. And I had the validity. I sold over 100 homes. I'm a nice person. You know, I always helped everyone, but that wasn't just leadership. Leadership wasn't just answering the phone and answering their questions. It was how I showed up. Did I hold the same standards as the rest of the team? Did I show up at 8 a.m. with them? Did I lead gen with them? Those are things you have to.
You taught by example. I mean, you walked the walk is what I'm trying to say.
And I still do, like, especially in this shifting market. If they're showing up at 8 a.m., I'm showing up at 8 a.m. If they're cold calling, I'm cold calling. We have a 15th protocol coming up, which we missed it by a couple of days. We had a few things going on. I will be there with them calling, you know. And the cool thing is,
asked about some of the standards. Are those a couple of them? I mean, you guys do the 15th protocol. You have call-in standards.
So Monday through Friday, we are in the office 8 to 11 a.m., non-negotiable. And we call that hammer time, which is our lead gen time. And that's Monday through Wednesday. We've been playing around with Chat GPT a lot with our lead gen time. A lot of, we got some little guys in our office and they are phenomenal. This is a whole other story for another time, but I really hope they create a subculture within our team. That's my big vision for our team, because we will have 30 agents on our team by the end of the year. So I want to encourage that subculture, so people can be on teams within teams. And reflecting back to that other question is, individual agents coming onto our team is fine, but we're not a stepping stone. I wanted to be very clear on that whenever we onboard people or we take agents on. We're not a stepping stone.
What do you mean by that?
That you don't get all of your knowledge from us, grow with us, and then think you're too good and then leave when the market shifts back up. We're here for longevity. We're here for opportunities. We're here for leadership roles. Like I said, we have title, we'll have insurance, we'll have mortgage. those opportunities are for people that stay in our world, and we're here to build wealth and passive incomes.
Yeah.
We're very stern on that. And we say that during the interview process.
How do you think you know if they're telling the truth or not?
By their actions. I'm very close with my teammates.
Yeah.
I'm really good at picking up on actions, words. And if I hear something that doesn't fit our culture, I will pull them aside and ask them that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, it's just a no tolerance because our culture is phenomenal on our team. Everyone wants to be a part of it. They want the passive incomes. They want the ownership of the business ventures we're creating. And they know it's there. It's not just a promise. I've done it. Denise has done it on our team. It's there.
Denise, yeah.
We have the proof that it works. So be with us or not. We're still going full steam ahead. And I tell them, like, I've hit rock bottom. Kelly and I have hit rock bottom. It's been me, Denise, and Kelly on the sales floor, and we've still brought in over $1 million.
Yeah.
We're fine. We want you in our world.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. I love it. Well, I could keep going, but I appreciate just all that you guys are sharing and your vulnerability and your authenticity and all of that. I took 2 pages of notes. So hopefully you guys did also that are listening. And I do think we might have to have you back for part 2. And Kelsey, you might need to teach a reels class soon coming up.
Yeah. I always get my reels in when I'm on the treadmill. That's when I make
I love it. I'm like, every time I have something I'm gonna post, I'm like, dang it, she already beat me to the 3 takeaways from Molly Fletcher. Now I gotta come up with something else.
I was like, taking all my notes.
I know, I love it. Well, thank you so much, Kelsey, and I appreciate you guys being on. Thanks to everybody for hopping on. If you have any questions, just let me know. We'll send out the recording, and then we will, any resources or anything you guys need, we'll try to provide them for you, and hopefully we can have you ladies back again, but keep crushing it. And there, Abby did post in the link in the chat for you guys. If anybody can make the trip to Nashville, it looks like an amazing event. I'll have major FOMO for not being there. So would be awesome.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Have a great weekend. Thanks, guys. See you later.